Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. This is Grumpy Old Bear. We're here to talk about Raid Shadow Legends. Download it for free today. So, I had a question from our clan. Uh, we are the Brimstone Wizards. You can check us out if you want to join. Send us an invite. Send us a request, and we'll get you in. Um, we had a question today to cover one of my newest champions that I just got, who is now in my Ultra Nightmare team, and that is the Fat Man himself, Fahrakin the Fat. Okay. Now the Fat does some really cool things. He's got really good skills. His A1, he does a decreased defense. Okay, and when you book it out, it has a 50% chance to land. Now it's only it attacks one enemy. It's not a double hit or anything like that. So it's a 50% chance that on his A1 he can land decreased defense, but it goes on for 2 turns, so that's also a plus. His A2 is a monster of a debuffer, especially for bosses and dungeons. HP burn and poison. When you book it out, 100% chance to land. As long as your accuracy passes, you're good to go. The special thing about him uh, is this move right here. Uh, One of the other epics that does a same type of ally attack doesn't do this. And he does a 30% increase crit rate and crit damage on all allies except him for 3 turns. And then they do an ally attack. So he boosts your damage up exponentially. What this also means is that you don't have to really build your dungeon teams if you're going to use him in dungeons um, with high crit rate. So your nukers, for example, like someone like Royal Guard or your Cold Hearts, maybe you're struggling to get that balance between crit rate and crit damage, so you can do like million plus hits with your Cold Heart on the bosses, or a million plus hits with your Royal Guard on the bosses. But what this guy does is he says, okay, so let's drop your crit rate down to about 70%. Obviously, if you can get 75, 80, it's better, because it means when this is off your allies that you can still crit. But let's say you can only get like 70% crit rate, that's fine. Throw a crit damage gauntlet on your people, crit damage amulet on your people, get your attacks high, that kind of thing, and this guy will boost all your stuff, all your damage. Um, the other thing about him is he has really good base stats. Okay, 1,000 defense, 1,200 attack, 100 speed. Those are really good stats for an epic to start off with. Um, the other thing that's cool that you need to be mindful of when taking anybody else that's like really squishy in with him is he does this body block. So he deflects 20% of all incoming damage to him to his allies. Now, what this could mean is that like if you're facing, let's say, Spider, but it's a magic affinity, and he becomes your tank because he's the negative affinity, he's spirit. But he's going to take 20% less damage and spread it across your other 4 allies equally. So each ally will get 5% of the damage he takes. That's pretty massive. So you don't have to build him as tanky in order to do his kit, but I would still recommend if you're um, going to build him specifically for dungeons that you get his HP up high um, so that he's not the main target. I'm running him in a killable team from Ultra Nightmare, so I don't really care about defense. All I wanted was attack, accuracy, and crit damage. Um, I wanted to get his crit rate higher, to get that 70%, but this is how I built him right now. When I get a couple better pieces, I will fix this part to get it to at least 70%. Now, if you're lucky enough to have uh, Kreela, okay, Kreela does the same type of move here. But she does increase attack and increase crit rate. So Kreela and Fahrakin the Fat combined, they're increasing your attack, they're increasing your crit rate, and they're increasing your crit damage. So those are huge buffs. And then they both do ally attack. So if you can team Fahrakin the Fat up with Kreela, you're in the money. Um, the other epic I was talking about, let me pull him out of the vault, who's also an ally attack, but he doesn't bring anything special to the table. Is he in the vault? Yeah, there he is. Sorry, guys. And his name is Catacomb Counselor. The Catacomb, he does an army of death. He joins up with 3 random allies and they attack person using their default skills. It's a 3 turn cooldown, or a 4 turn cooldown, sorry, when it's booked. But he was one of the first epics to do this move. So he's a kind of an older, earlier release type champion to do this. So if you look at what the Fat does with his beatdown, and what you have in someone like Kreela, right? It's a legendary type move because it combines her A2 with her A3 with her A2, and that's huge. Um, so the Fat is a really, really good champion. If you're lucky enough to have him, and you're wondering if you should use him, I would highly recommend using him. Um, you don't have to put him in lifesteal for dungeons. You don't have to put him in lifesteal. You can, put up in the offense set, or retribution or anything like that to land the decreased defense in case you're missing that. If you're not missing that, the A1 is not that important, but what it can do is be a gap filler between when your decreased defense champion has his skills on cooldown. He can come in and put that on so that your team continues to do high damage until that guy's skills come off a cooldown. So he enables you to do a lot of different things. So we're going to go over a couple of his better dungeons, and I'll show you a clan boss run. I won't show you the whole things, but you can see highlights of him doing what he does. So we're going to start with the dungeon I hate the most, but Ice Golem, right? Ice Golem, it's good for him to run, especially his last two. Fahrakin the Fat is really good here, 19 and 20, because he's a positive affinity here, neutral affinity here. So he can do either stage very easily once you start getting up to that level. Unless you're already there and you just want, to push, you can. So this is what I have him running with right now. One thing you have to be careful with the Fat, or with bringing any kind of ally attack, is that they're going to more than likely by default target the boss. Now when you target the Ice Golem boss and you bring his health down too fast, with his ads still alive, he does exponentially more damage to you. So you have to be careful of that. That's why I'm bringing in the Seal. I'm bringing in a Miscreated Monster to keep my team alive, or at least revive them in case they die. Alright, so we're going to try this one more time and see if we can get a successful run here. I do think this would be his better spot. However, you see the danger there. So let's try this one more time. I'll slow this down so you can see what he does. And it just allowed you to nuke down one person. I mean, on the waves, that can be tremendous. If you want to guide it, you can, like for these hounds that put reflect damage on, you can definitely guide it and click it and make them do it. But if it's off a cooldown. So I'm gonna guide it this time, just so we cannot die. This is what he would do for you. You saw that everybody teamed up, took that one ad down very quickly, so it's nice. And then you can sustain Ice Golem damage a lot easier that way. Once the ads are down, he hits for a lot less. See there, even with people weak, he wasn't able to kill him off. Thankfully, we had Ally Protect on. Now we got shields back up. Seal's going to heal us up a little bit. Big damage coming out right there with a big slam, but because of Miscreated Monster, our shields are still rocking. We're good. No worries there. Sorry for the background noise. And there you go, 212. And you can see the, he didn't crank out a whole lot of damage himself, but what he does is he pushes your other people to do a lot more damage. Obviously Miscreated Monster with his AoE, Venus with her decreased defense, her HP burn and poison, Astralon with his massive destruction. Like he enables these guys to push that damage out higher, and that's why he's so good. So we completed it there, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Again, Ice Golem is a hard dungeon at 20 because of those ads and the amount of damage that the boss can do. So I'm gonna take you to the place where I think he's best suited for, as far as dungeons are concerned, and I think that's Fire Knight. Now, Fire Knight, you know, it's the positive affinity for him. So he wants to come in and hit the Fire Knight at 20. You know, 19 may be a problem if you're relying on the Fat to come in and do work there. It could be a problem. Definitely, 16, 17, 18, the Fat's rocking. 19 he might struggle a little bit. You might want to bring a reviver if you have one. But what's awesome about the Fire Knight is he has a certain amount of hits before his shield drops down. Well, when you're bringing in ally attack, especially if you have people that do a double hit on their A1 with the Fat coming in, that shield's going to get nuked down super fast, and then it allows the rest of your team to, do their big abilities and nuke the Fire Knight without his shield being up and without that being a problem. So I'm coming in with, I usually run 2 Cold Hearts in this team, but I'm going to show you what the Fat can do to enable this team to nuke down the Fire Knight shield. So we got decreased defense. Here we go. Someone's dying. And you see that he dropped. They're all low health. Again, Marshall is one of my favorite champs. His A1's AoE, even though that's not treated as an AoE, so it's a single attack per each target, which is nice because some of those masteries that are out there decrease damage from AoEs, but not single targets, and that's why Marshall is so nice. Anyway, back to the Fat. You can see there, he hits hard, and you saw how I had him. His crit rate's not that great, but he hits hard when he does crit. So he's a good damage dealer. Again, he pushes your team to be better with his A3. So he does a lot of good things. There goes the Fire Knight shield. Hopefully we get a decreased turn meter here. Yep. Double decreased turn meter. Unfortunately, that was the big hit without decreased defense on. And just letting them go to work. We're about to do another big hit, and that's it. So, oh nice, I got a shark. So, again, I think that's his best spot. Marshall, obviously, and Cold Heart cranking up the damage, but the reason for that is the Fat. The Fat enabled Marshall, Cold Heart, even Lysandra, who doesn't have War Master mastery, like that. So she's just hitting normal hits, but even she did 100k damage. The Fat is a great champion. If you're thinking about using him or wondering if you should, I would highly recommend it. He's a great champion. He can push your dungeon teams to do more damage without having to worry about gearing them specifically to get higher crit rate, because he puts that 30% increased crit rate on your team with a 30% increased crit damage. So if you can get your crit rate to say 70% and your crit damage to that 200 mark, well, now you're going to have 100% crit rate and 230% crit damage for 3 turns. So that's something to think about. Now the big spotlight here is going to be the clan boss. I've already done a run today, but I can do one more. And you're going to see the power of the Fat and Kreela combined here. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to have 2 man-eaters or be able to run this type of unkillable team. But if you get a man-eater and you get a Painkeeper, she's a rare. Void, um, Dark Elf. If you get Man-Eater and Painkeeper, you can run an unkillable team, and you can feature the Fat if you don't have a Creeler or something like that. The Fat can enable that team to push your damage output, a lot higher. So we'll get into it. I'm going to cut the video. Uh, I'll show you how it starts off. I'll show you the middle, then I'll show you the end of the fight. Because no one wants to sit here for 10 minutes and watch the fight. So I'll get that going, and hope you guys enjoy. So in case you're wondering, this team is speed tuned together, so everything is in place, and I can show you the builds afterwards. So what we do is we start off with our A2, which is a siphon. We don't want to do unkillable yet. A2 again. We're going to decrease defense and weaken, hopefully, and we got it. We're going to HP burn and poison. We're going to enable our damage. So now everybody has increased attack and increased crit rate. We're going to do our first unkillable here. Do not do that. Do an A1. We're going to poison and decrease attack. And now we're going to do increased crit damage along with increased attack, increased crit rate, and all these guys are going to attack right here. I slowed it down so you can see the numbers. Everybody used their A1, and now with Krila, so everybody has all their buffs plus increased crit damage, and now you're going to see everybody go again. So to me, the Fat is fantastic. If you can team him up with Krila, it's even better. Do you have to? No, but the combination of increased attack, increased crit damage, it's just a huge output of damage that you're getting from your team. Okay, so right here, right before the clan boss goes, and this is what I mean by speed tuned. This champion is designed to do this right before the clan boss goes, so that your team becomes unkillable for the duration of the fight. At this point, I'm going to hit auto. I'm going to let this run through. And again, I will cut it, from this point on to close to the end, so that you guys can see the damage these guys can do. Hopefully you enjoy. Okay, guys, we're coming up to the end of the run here. You can see with this type of setup, this is an easy 2-key. The Fat, everybody's doing their thing. We're about to get one more push of damage coming out. And that'll be the end of the run. At turn 50, unkillable dies. And everybody's dead. Fane and the Fat do about 11 million each, mostly because they're putting poison on, and Fat's also doing HP burn. But what they do is enable your, say your Man-Eaters, who don't typically hit too hard, but it pushes their damage up. In my other team, when I was running one Man-Eater and a Painkeeper, Man-Eater would do, like 2 million damage, 3 million damage most. But you can see because of these two right here, everybody's able to get into, above 5 million and, do around this much damage average on the clan boss Ultra Nightmare. So just real quick, if you wanted to see the builds, what I have my people running at, you want one fast Man-Eater, and you're going to want to put him at 248 speed. He has to be 248, can't be any higher, can't be any lower, it has to be 248. The second Man-Eater is running at 246. Same thing for him. He has to be 246. No higher, no lower. This is what it has to be. And you can see, I dropped his speed down with using a 4-star speed boot. But everywhere else, he's got a speed roll, double speed roll there. double speed roll there, you know, speed roll there with an enchantment, and speed roll there. So and speed there. So every place has speed in order for me to get these speeds up. Um, so the other two, you know, I showcased my build for him earlier. He's at 210. Now your other three can be anywhere between 5 and 212. But you don't want everybody to be at 212. You want someone to be your 212. You want someone to be between, like, you know, your 209 to 11 speed, and then someone to be between, you know, 205, 209, that kind of deal. So for the Fat's at 210, Fane's at 212. You know, she's at 212. And then I have my Kreela, and she's at 208. So everybody's speed tuned to go when they're supposed to in that fight. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and comment below. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions or want to see another champion spotlight, let me know. I can show you what I have on my people, and anybody that you want to see that I have worked on, or where they feature in my teams, I'll be glad to show you. So anyway, this has been Grumpy Old Bear. Have a good one. Signing off.